They're all little ones, and hopefully all extinct.
You know that, hopefully.
Some of them are actually lakes, but yeah, it makes the city quite interesting in terms of its topography. It's not a lot of big hills, but a hang of a lot of little pimples, shall we call them.
Didn't you have a big earthquake about 10 years ago?
Not in Auckland, Jim. That was down in Christchurch, and they're still battling to come out of that. Yes, it was bad. It devastated the central city area. I actually did go down there, and I actually, when I was in the Air Force, did all my training down there, and to go back to that city after the earthquake was actually quite demoralising.
Voice check.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Got you, Jim.
5 by 5. Yeah.
Thank you.
What was the Richter scale on that?
I can't remember, but it was up there. It was around about 7 or 8. It was quite significant.
Yeah, the big one.
Pretty resilient lot down there. We can never beat them at rugby.
It's rare anybody in the Northern Hemisphere ever does either.
Well, they did the other day, and they played bloody well, the Irish. They really did.
Oh, yeah.
Take my hat off to them. Mind you, they had 3 Kiwis in their side.
It's funny, isn't it? We got 2 daughters that play rugby, 2 of our 3 daughters. And they're like chalk and cheese, the pair of them. One is very obviously a forward, and one is very obviously a winger.
Here, what did you think of that third goal last night? Wasn't that bloody good?
Oh, yeah, the back heel.
Yeah.
It was jammy.
Well, yeah, they always are, isn't
Yeah.
they? Well, you know, it was the last result because she knew
Yeah.
any longer she wasted, there'd be more people on her.
Yeah.
They showed it on our sports news here, and yeah, it was quite incredible, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you see that little girl dancing?
Yeah,
around?
she's become famous this morning.
Yeah, she was on morning TV. She was on for about a quarter of an hour, actually.
Okay, guys, I see we're starting to get into the air. Runway 21, I think, is the favoured runway today.
Yeah, that's where I'll move her off there now.
I had a look at the scenery that you recommended for this, but I didn't feel like spending £20, so I've just got to go with what it is.
Okay, well, that's a shame because the default Auckland is not very good. I hope they fix it. The Harbour Bridge doesn't look like the Harbour Bridge, and the Sky Tower doesn't look like the Sky Tower.
Yeah, £20 goes towards my new electric bill.
Well, if Jonathan's got it and he records it, you'll be able to have a look at it.
I haven't actually. I always just leave my scenery on stock most of the time.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting though. I'll have a look later and see how different it is. Because some people who are very clever at these things do comparisons side by side. I'm not quite sure how they do that.
I've got it and I'm streaming, so if you want to compare a nice shot.
Yeah, when we get in the other city, I'll have a look then.
Yeah. I'll go slow as I can.
Just a quick update, Jonathan, on the A320 quadrant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's going back,
Right.
and they've got to replace it.
Okay. It did seem very odd, didn't it, what it was doing?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the phone. I was on phone and Discord, sharing my screen for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get it to sort itself out. So in the end, they gave up and said, "Yeah, okay, we need to do something about it. Send it back to us. We'll have a look at it. If it can't be fixed, then we'll send you a new one.
Yeah.
Pain in the arse. Is everybody up in the air now?
I am. I'm just orbiting the airfield.
Going up.
I am.
Threshold 2-1.
It's funny though, because I've seen 2 of these Airbus sticks now. The the actual joystick.
Yeah.
And both of them, within days, I had to take them to bits and put lubricant on the sensors because they were jittering all over the place.
I remember you talking about that a few months ago. Before, the other time was when you had to dig all the biscuits out.
But yeah, so I had to disassemble both of them. It's only a 5-minute job. You take sort of 5 or 6 screws out, squirt some WD-40 in it, put it back together, and it works perfectly.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to do that.
I see a stranger just coming into land or flying the runway.
Okay, so let's have a look.
Very green. Unlike
Yes, it
England.
is. We have a lot of rain at this time of the year, gentlemen.
Well, we haven't got very much at all. We're turning into dead grassland in the UK.
So the first heading then is about 250 degrees. I'll wait till everyone's in the air before I set off.
I see you've put a few trips for August, Jonathan.
Yes. I had a
Bit
couple
of
of,
pre-planning.
yeah, I had a couple of hours free, so I thought, sod it, I'll go and put flights in for the whole of August. I know some people like to pre-fly them that aren't very confident with aeroplanes, so I thought, why not? Give them something to do.
Yeah, I do it all the time, Jonathan. It's interesting because when you do it with the group, you don't have to worry so much.
Yeah, you know what's coming.
Know what's coming.
Yeah, or if you miss them, it's great to just redo it yourself. What are you flying, Jonathan?
The Caravan, the analog version.
Oh, okay.
I hope I can keep up with all of you guys in my little 172. Maxed out at 118.
Just make sure you got a bit of gas in your 172.
Yeah, I did see the distance, yeah.
Yeah, even for John, you're not even in a Caravan, you're like in a Piper with the default.
I watched that clip with James Corden and Tom Cruise today.
It's good, isn't it?
That is hilarious. How the hell have they done that?
Oh, the Top Gun one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
I mean, does he actually really fly?
Yeah. He's got a
he
jet
does.
private license, he's got a jet license and a general aviation license.
So that was probably really him flying?
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, you lucky swine, Corden.
Got all the money in the world and the time.
Well, yeah.
We get all that.
And the guts.
Yeah.
He comes across as such a nice guy, doesn't he? Tom Cruise.
He's got a Mustang as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And one of the new Honda jets.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we heading off now?
I think so, if everybody's in the air now. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind flying with Tom Cruise.
Well, join the queue.
He seems to be one of the final kind of old school movie stars, doesn't he? That doesn't mind putting the time in with the fans and going out of his way.
I remember him on Top Gear. He was good at that, wasn't he?
Yeah. Right, so I'm going to circle round and then start on the route. I'll keep an eye on you guys on the map. 252 degrees. So we're aiming for 120 knots, are we? So we can keep speed with Jim.
Yeah, I've got 120 knots dialed in.
Cool.
My flaps down.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Put a bit of flaps on because I'd normally stall at some point.
Well, as we're coming over Auckland International Airport, this harbour we're flying over is the Manukau Harbour, which is exits into the Tasman Sea. Auckland is built on a very, very narrow isthmus, if you like to put it this way, because if you swing your eyes to the left, you're looking at the Tasman Sea. If you go to the right, to the water out the other side, and you're looking at the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, you're quite well ahead of us at the moment. Haven't even reached the airport.
Okay, I'll do a circuit, let us catch up. I don't know whether you were here, Jonathan, when I was telling the guys about a company that operates out of that airfield at Ardmore called Avspecs.
Oh yes, yes, I did hear that.
You did hear that, yeah.
Yeah, they make mosquitoes.
They do. Yeah, it's quite amazing. I've actually been out there and had a look at what they do. It's
What, as in World War II mosquitoes?
yeah, World War II mosquitoes. They were the first people to build one that they could fly. A guy got all the plans and built a mould, and so they can actually build a completely new fuselage, which is the big stumbling point with the mosquitoes.
Wow.
Yeah, as I say, those videos on YouTube about it are extremely interesting if you're into that. I come from the engineering side of the aviation industry, so of course that sort of stuff very interesting to me.
My favourite aeroplane from World War II.
It's awesome. I'm waiting for somebody to do it for flight sim.
Oh, yeah. Now that'd be something.
There's a very
We had
good
it
one.
in F6.
So I was going to say there's a very, very good one for DCS.
Is there?
It's like study level. It's actually really difficult to fly because of it.
I bet. There's one of the videos that Mr. Skilling, Jim Skilling, I think his name is, who was the test pilot and one of the regular pilots of it here, and he tells you all about what's good and bad about the mosquito. Righto guys, I've come round and I'm
A motocross track down there.
quite a bit of that, and there's also a big equestrian thing underneath us around about where we are now. if I remember correctly.
Got this airport.
The airport is about 20 odd K southwest of the central city. Can be a nightmare to get there sometime.
Car park.
Yeah, it is a big car park.
I believe that's you in behind me, Jonathan. Do I come up as a 4-on-4 or
You
something
are,
else?
yes, you're in the correct one because I've got it anyway, so.
Yeah. So the analog caravan does not show up.
That's interesting.
Do you have the temperature? Probably the caravan will tell you. Oh, you don't have the glass.
No, I've got the GTN 750 though, but I don't know where I'd find it on it.
I know the Cessna has, the 172 has the gauges on the pillars.
Oh, that's a good point. I probably have got it somewhere.
I don't see it in the 4-on-4. I'm sure it's somewhere. I doubt it's pitot heat weather.
This harbour under us is very tidal. It doesn't have this much water in it most of the time. Only at full tide. The water that's under us is West Coast, Tasman Sea, and the water in front of us out 1 o'clock is Pacific Ocean. There's one part in Auckland out south where they reckon it's the narrowest piece of land between two major water bodies on Earth. It's about 800 metres from the Tasman Sea to the Pacific Ocean.
I've had the opportunity to go to the very tip there of New Zealand and watch where, I guess it's the Tasman Sea and the Pacific Ocean meet, and watch the big waves. You can see them from the shore. It's amazing.
I don't know whether anybody has any involvement in the maritime side of things, but I have to say this is the home of the America's Cup. At the moment.
I can't help feeling they've kind of lost their way with that. They're not boats anymore, are they?
Oh no, the technology is something quite amazing, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
More like aeroplanes now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hovercrafts.
It's all hydroplane now.
England have never won it. Switzerland have. Switzerland ain't even got a sea, have they?
see some
We're now-
skyscrapers coming up. Is that the main capital or of the area?
What's coming up is the main downtown area of Auckland. Then we got
Very widely spread out, isn't it? The whole city.
oh yes, has population of I believe it's getting very close to 2 million now. I think officially it says 1.67 or something like that.
What's the population of New Zealand? About 6 million?
Yeah, be getting up around about that now. So a third of the population lives here. There's something like about 9 or 10 marinas, and I believe they estimate in the region of 500,000 yachts and vessels that make Auckland their home. So we're very much a maritime city. There's the Auckland Harbour Bridge down to our left.
Quite refreshing seeing a lot of low level buildings. Not too many high rises.
A couple cruise ships over here.
Well, not many at the moment, and not allowed in here yet.
What, because of COVID?
Yeah, honestly. They went a bit overboard down here, I reckon, but anyway, we won't go there.
At least Flight Simulator has that correct. You know, I didn't even know that they could have cruise ships over here.
Heaps of them come here over the summer months.
When did they add wakes for the boats? Because that's really neat.
That's coming in the next update, isn't it?
Yeah, Sim Update 10.
Okay, this is just a wake that's in the satellite imagery from a fake boat.
Yeah.
If you've got the world boats, then they have a clear wake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have.
Yeah. But they are named boats, aren't they? And they're real.
See a fair few yachts sailing.
When's the next big update then?
End of August.
Oh, okay.
It's in beta
probably
already. Anybody can join the beta program.
For a
Hello,
much more
Jonathan.
unstable
I
copy.
See you creeping up behind me, Jonathan.
Yep. Well, I'm recording the session, so I'm giving people something to look at.
Oh, let's have a look at Dave's. See what it looks like. See how different. Let's have a look at the scenery around you, Dave.
Oh yeah.
If I go to Discord, I should be able to stream. Go live.
Right now, it doesn't look too much different.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's going to be the buildings and the bridges. Mentioned.
Yeah, that's where the differences are.
Oh, okay.
That's, as we head down here, this is an interesting a piece out there to the, where am I relative to you guys? I'm coming back. to
You're
catch up.
making me famous, Jonathan.
I am.
I think it's $400 for anybody that shows up on screen.
Oh, fine. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
take $400. Thank you.
That's the Screen Actors Guild. I always fly in Alaska a lot because it's really pretty there. So I downloaded the Orbix scenery. Night and day difference. One of the best purchases I've ever made.
They do a very good job, because what they did on Auckland was very good, and I think they did the New Zealand mesh as well. Very good.
I've got that.
Okay.
In the mountain areas, that mesh comes into its own.
It does.
Yeah, there's like no jaggeds, no like pixelation. It's all smooth. Like the beaches look so smooth you could land on them. It's pretty amazing for the price. And they
Like
must
this,
have just touched everything.
island out here, this round one, conical island, is actually quite a land, what do you want to call it, a notable point in Auckland. It's called Rangatoto, and it's only 600 years old. I believe the Maoris, our so-called native or indigenous people, they were here when it actually blew.
Oh, so it's the top of a volcano.
It is a volcano, Jonathan. It's rather interesting to go and visit it because there's no soil on it. All the vegetation grows out of the rocks. It's an amazing place. It takes you back to prehistoric times. It really does. Just a solid lump of basalt lava. That's all it.
Golf course down there.
Pardon?
Got a golf course.
Not on Rangatoto. There's no power on it either. Oh, hang on. Yes, there is. I think they have got a cable over there.
I'm on about the land I'm passing over.
Here in the Hauraki Gulf are now part of what they call the Hauraki Maritime Reserve. So they've secured them for all time for the use of the total population. Going to make our way up here along the North Shore beaches of Auckland. Got Narrow Neck and Takapuna and Milford and
Guides out here.
and the city. The city, as somebody mentioned, is very spread out. It's probably getting close on nearly from the southern end to the northern end. It's got to be getting up around 80 to 90 kilometres. Very long.
If you were to take your standard 3-bedroom house with a garage, you know, what are you looking at cost-wise?
Well, here, talking in New Zealand dollar terms, well, I sold my home last year in South Auckland, which is not what you would call the most expensive housing areas, but it was a nice area that we're in. And I sold that for just over $1.2 million. But down here on the beachfront underneath you at Takapuna, anything on the beachfront there, $4-5 million.
Crikey.
Very expensive.
Hamptons on Long Island.
Auckland is not a cheap city to live in.
The Hamilton's area on Long Island, I think the prices started about $30 million.
Yeah. Oh, there's some exorbitant prices. We had a home sell on the down where I live now, and we're going to go there today. It was, I don't know, 5-bedroom, what have you, but it sold for $6.3 million just before Christmas.
What's the exchange rate to the UK pound at the moment to sterling?
Around about like 2 to 1, I think, if I remember correctly.
Similar to Australian dollars.
We're just a little bit, I think a New Zealand dollar's worth about, I don't know, somewhere around about 80 to 90 cents Australian.
Right, so your property that you sold would be about 600,000 in UK pounds.
Yeah, you would be pretty right there, yes.
Yeah, so it's about the same.
Yeah. Especially for a city.
Yeah.
I know those TV programs where they get people moved to New Zealand or Australia. They earn per hour a lot more in New Zealand. You know, the wage is much higher. But of course, food things are.
Yeah, you never win.
Yeah.
Everybody grumbles down here all the time because we're forced to pay export prices, and you know, a leg of New Zealand lamb costs you an arm and a leg down here, believe it or not. We pay more for it here than what you guys pay for it in the UK.
That is so bad.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. All right, I'm out of here. Goodbye.
Anyway, so now you sold your house. Are you homeless?
No, my wife and I downsized, and we've gone into a lifestyle village down in a little town called Whitianga, where we're going to go to today. It's a very pretty spot on the east coast of the Coromandel Peninsula, which is that landmass way in the distance that you can see in front of you. About 180k southeast or east of Auckland it is. We're going to go out into the outer Hauraki Gulf now, and we're flying across an island called Motatapu, and the island that's in front of us, which is one of the larger islands in the Hauraki Gulf, is called Waiheke, and it's one of the notable tourist attractions in Auckland. It's covered in vineyards and restaurants and little bars, and yeah, it's quite a lovely place to go to in the summertime. They run high-speed ferries down there virtually every hour during the summer.
So I assume this Rangatoto, whatever it's called, is one of the volcanoes. It looks like one on the map.
It is. It is a volcano. You can actually walk to the top of it. They do day trips over there. Spectacular views back to the city from the top of the cone. And this big area of water out here is where they race the America's Cup, gentlemen, right underneath us.
Pretty cool. Looks like that volcano is about 2,600 feet.
I don't think it's quite that high. It's not that big. I think it'd be lucky if it's 1,000.
Looking on a little nav map, it says 260, so I'm not sure.
Okay, It might be. I don't know.
Or 200, or just 260 feet.
I know it took all day to go up there and back again. I walked it.
Dave, question for you. I'm just watching your stream. How do you get rid of the HUD on your screen?
In settings.
You
You can
can't
turn
just
it off, I think.
Hang on.
It's in accessibility, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Display.
Yep.
Yeah. Accessibility.
You don't want to be an arcade flyer?
Okay, so you've got to put it off on the main menu.
No, you can do it when you're in flight. You can It's in one of the accessibility settings pages.
Yeah, I haven't got that on my basic controls, flight assistant.
No, it's under settings. You gotta
Oh,
go to escape to the main menu. Settings, accessibility.
I'll leave it for now then.
I wish there was a hotkey.
Yeah, there should be.
I like it sometimes, and most of the time I want it off for pictures.
That's what I was thinking. And the scenery around here is beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, Waihiki's got lovely beaches. There's a lot of holiday homes down here, but it does also support quite a large permanent population now. I believe it's about, I don't know, getting up towards 6,000, yes, very popular place. But I still believe that the best is yet to come, gentlemen, in my opinion. Having sailed the Gulf for many years, a mate of mine and I had a keeler for 10 years, and we sailed a lot of the coast of around here and in the Gulf. It's a sailing mecca, it really is, because it's a nice protected piece of open water. Can get pretty rough, mind you, but right, we're going to go out over a bit of stretch of water here. We're going to go the 50 odd nautical miles out to what is known as Great Barrier Island, which is where we do have a very narrow sealed strip out there. And there's a little local airline called Barrier Air that services the island, and also some northern cities and northern towns.
What planes do they use?
Caravans, Jonathan.
Oh, that was Jim.
Jim, yeah, caravans. They're perfect for what they use them for. The landmass immediately in front of us is the northern tip of the Coromandel Peninsula, and we're now going to fly across the face of what you guys will be familiar with the name, but it's known as the Firth of Thames. The expanse of water going to the south of us on your right hand side is known as the Firth of Thames. Very, very good for fishing.
Are you on my tail again, Jonathan?
Somebody says a caravan.
Oh, it's not me then.
I believe that's Adam.
Ah, okay. Does anyone ever use that Neo pilot where it's got like careers built into it?
for free. It's pretty neat. You have to start like in your hometown or home area, and you have to start with a Cessna, and you work your way up to like a Caravan or jets, and then you have to move cargo.
I've heard of it. I've never actually used it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun how it just tracks everything, and you have to build your career up to get the better planes, and then you can hire other pilots to use the smaller planes that you abandoned.
Right.
I was surprised it was free. Pretty fun. Adds a little bit more adventure to it. You can do perishable stuff, so you have to get it there quick. Glass will break if you do a hard landing.
Just coming in on your wing, Jim.
Gotcha.
I feel like a shepherd tending his flock here.
Are you my mother?
I was getting a bit ahead, so I've come around and I'm going to come up from chasers from behind now. Make sure you go to the right place.
I just let autopilot take over, and I'm kind of just looking out the windows.
Yeah, I was about
That's a
to
good
do
way
that
to go.
myself.
I'm afraid
Jonathan.
something's wrong with my autopilot. It's not working.
Jonathan, what's that other A320 that a lot of people are flying? Not the fly-by-wire.
The Phoenix.
Yeah, what's the difference between that and the fly-by-wire?
The Phoenix is basically a professionally built study level A320.
Right.
So it costs, was it £70, something like that? But it's brilliant.
50 or something. It's cheaper than the 737.
Oh, sorry, yes, it is, yeah. It's about £50–60, but it's brilliant. There's no getting around it, but you need a fair amount of horsepower for it to run smoothly.
Right.
But basically, the A320 pilots that have had a go on it, if their face is in the stream, they just start grinning as soon as they start trying things out, because it's absolutely on the money.
All correct.
It's not just that. I think there's the guy called the Flying Fabio that was an A320 pilot, and he looked at it on his stream when it first came out.
Is that our Fabio?
No, different one. And he looked at it on the stream, and the first thing he did, which is, to be honest, was one of the things I was going to do with it, he went down the runway, pulled the nose up, and then let go of the stick, and watched what the plane did. And it was on rails at the exact attitude he left it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And then
And
he pushed.
it's the same for sideways movement
Yeah,
as well.
he rolled the plane sort of 20 degrees left and let go of the stick again, and it absolutely held the pitch and the roll that he'd commanded, and he just started grinning.
I thought the fly-by-wire was supposed to do that, but it doesn't, does it?
No. So the Phoenix is running absolutely its own flight model outside of the sim. But it's not just that, it's everything about the way, the avionics and everything, it's dead on. All the symbology, everything.
And can you use SimBrief with it and everything? It's got
Yes.
the fly pad and everything else.
Yep. It's actually better than the 737 in that regard. They've done a lot more work to integrate other things.
So, does it have the same sort of throttle setup as the fly-by-wire?
Yes. Oh yeah, the
Right.
the Thrustmaster quadrant will work perfectly with it.
Right, okay.
Coming up to a cargo ship, or is it a tanker?
I do.
Tanker.
That island out there at 11 o'clock is an island known as Little Barrier. It's a nature reserve. You're not allowed to set foot on it.
And what nature is there,
Birds, lots of birds.
That's funny.
right?
What nature?
It's interesting. I think I spoke about it on a recent flight. I watched a documentary series with Griff Rhys-Jones, a presenter in the UK, about New Zealand. It was about 5 episodes, I think. But it was fascinating. I didn't realise that until 800 years ago, none of this was populated. And then,
No, it wasn't.
and then the Polynesians arrived, and then about 200 years ago, with the whaling industry, the Europeans arrived.
Ruined it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've got a bit of information for you guys as we get down the coast, because it's some significant, I won't call it historical, but yeah, it probably is. We're going to visit some of the places where Captain Cook first arrived in New Zealand. And the interesting part is that, well, it's not interesting, but it's significant to me. I was actually born on the anniversary of the day that young cabin boy first sighted New Zealand, on the 6th of October 1769.
Blimey, you're old, Dad.
I was waiting for that joke.
Well, he was born in 1943. Come on.
I don't think I'm not doing too bad.
Are
Either
you a
way, he's
pirate?
old.
Am I a pirate?
Yeah.
Some people might think so.
No, he just likes rum.
Who doesn't?
Oh dear.
Rum and Coke.
I only learnt recently, it may have been Jim that told me actually, that grog is rum mixed with water.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, you couldn't drink grog live. You know, I mean, it's just, it'd knock your head off.
Oh, rum you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a small glass of it the other night. Neat.
I water my...
No. I'm talking about grog, not rum.
Oh, okay.
You can drink rum. Grog is nigh on white lightning. It's nigh
Right.
on, 100% proof.
So it's like the port version of rum.
I water my rum down with ice.
Well, I was in the services. I was there the year that they actually got rid of it. So I did get in the Royal Navy. I got to actually taste it, which was great. I didn't like it at all.
You didn't have enough.
Oh, I did. I had more than enough, and that was watered down. So
Sorry, it doesn't have a patch on a good whiskey.
oh, I totally agree.
Oh, I love whiskey.
Well said, that man. Especially a good malt.
Single at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you ever get the chance, if you're north of Edinburgh, you'll be able to buy it. Anywhere else, I don't think you can. But if you get the chance, buy Mortlach. That's Mortlach. That is absolutely gorgeous.
This bay we're flying over now is known as Port Jackson. It's at the very top of the Coromandel Peninsula. Very popular. There's campgrounds and that there run by the Department of Conservation, and very popular with people that like to rough it. Very, very pretty out here. Very popular in the summertime.
Like those with a house that's worth 1.2 million, eh?
I mean, there's a ship.
Where?
There's a ship, look. And if I pan back to that island,
looking at your,
over trees.
It's not an island. It's not a ship. It's a little island called Channel Island.
Yeah, I'm
That we're about.
looking at that.
It's just a lump of rock out in the middle of the sea. Nothing on it. It's not
See it,
that
yeah.
big. If you're sailing out here at night, you got a light on it, fortunately, so we don't run into it.
There is a ship there, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
I can see the ship, Dave.
What runway do you want us to land on pretty soon?
Oh, Dave, what are you doing? Inverted. Going down.
Oh, he had too much whiskey.
I think he's been on the grog.
There he goes, falling down.
No, he's back up again. He's okay.
Then he was up.
Runway,
Then he was down.
runway 28, guys. The way to approach this is go across the island and virtually fly along the coast, and the runway will appear right in front of you.
Cool.
It's very narrow and amongst the bush. Good luck.
Is this just a touch and go, or is this a full stop?
If you want to stop and have a coffee, we can stop there. I think there might be enough room for the small group we've got.
I gotta hug the right side of the island.
Yeah, that's right. There's a little island just off the coast that's virtually a good spot to line up from the end of the runway, virtually straight out from the end of the runway.
9 miles to go.
You did all? Sorry, I'm very late.
That's okay.
So what are you saying? What are you saying? Take the right-hand side of the island to approach it. What runway
Yes.
did you say?
28, runway
Okay.
28. There's
Okay,
only one,
gotcha.
and it's very
Yeah,
narrow.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, fly across the island and fly in a northeasterly direction along the eastern coastline. This island is the yachties' mecca. This is where we all come, because it's just a spectacular place to go sailing and fishing and lots
you've
of
got
little bays.
So you got a yacht as well?
I used to have, I don't have it anymore. I got a small tinny now, what we call
So-
a tinny.
I was going to say, when you downsized your house, you downsized to a dinghy as well, did you?
No, well, when we sold the
A lot
yacht,
of build-up.
I've been very fortunate. New Zealand's given me a wonderful life, and my wife and I built a holiday home down on the Coromandel, and we'll fly over that beach about 30 odd years ago. We've moved down to that area. We can't live at the Batch because my children have got a roster system for it, and Mum and I aren't on it.
Oh dear, that's not good.
Good.
That's
We
not
just
good.
go during the week and mow the lawns and cut the hedges and fix the boat up, and then they all turn up on the weekends and have a ball. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds remarkably like my life.
Yep.
Yeah, and how old are your kids, Jonathan?
I know.
My oldest boy's in his 50s now, so
So you're saying
I got
I've got a long way to go then before they're going to actually start helping?
that's right.
Oh,
Don.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, our son is 50 this year.
Wow. I got two youngins, a 7-year-old and a 11-year-old.
Oh, I don't miss those days whatsoever.
They don't do
I don't.
anything but Minecraft.
It's much better when they're nearly 50, I tell you. It really is.
Do they grow up at 50?
Oh, I didn't say that.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
I love watching them all having the traumas of what we all went through with
Yeah,
their
it's
kids.
great, isn't it? Yeah,
great.
it's great.
But they claim it's worse.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
well,
they do.
well, in the UK at the moment, you know, we got this threat of high prices, etc. Interest rates going up potentially to 7 or 8%. I remember in the 80s when it went up to 18%.
Yep.
That's right.
Same in the US. Same thing in
People
the US.
lost their homes right, left, and centre. People went into negative equities for years and years and years. Yeah,
Not only that, you didn't have any coal and you didn't have any electric for it.
you didn't. No, that's
It's not
right.
that
They didn't collect the rubbish. Who isn't? Me?
Or no coal?
Yeah. No, what he means is the miners went on strike. There was no
Oh,
coal.
okay. All right.
There was no power, see, because most of the power stations were coal.
In the
fired.
1970s, yeah.
Okay.
No,
I thought you were talking about it wasn't
early
invented yet.
1980. Early 19. No, I think coal's been invented for quite a few millennia, actually.
I think
I'm sorry to break it to you, but you know.
Jonathan wouldn't remember it, but I tried to boil some water to make a cup of tea with 3 candles.
Yeah, I remember that. That's not going to
Right,
work.
you guys-
It should have been. It should have been
Everybody
4
spotted the
candles.
strip?
When the electricity came on, it was black. The soot of the
Did it
candle.
work?
No.
You needed more candles.
Has everybody got the strip?
Yeah, I'm just circling it. I'm going to watch everybody coming in.
I haven't got it yet. I'm getting close though. I think I can feel it in my bones.
I can see someone's shadow nearby. I can't quite see where their aeroplane is.
I was quite nearby when you guys
Oh, I'm coming up behind you all. I'm just keeping my eye on you guys. You see that little needle rock sticking out there? That's virtually just to the left of the touchdown zone. It's straight in front of it. These beaches, this is what is known as Meadlands Beach. It's one of the most renowned surf beaches in New Zealand. They come from miles around to come out here just to go surfing. No power on this island, it's all gen sets. I came down here 20 years ago, there was no power, but they had telephone boxes with a card telephone. I couldn't believe it.
Reminds me of the 80s then.
Imagine no cell phone towers either.
Wonderful.
No, there is now.
Probably solar or wind powered.
Solar powered mainly.
Yeah.
maybe I'll come in the other way.
It's a very narrow runway, guys.
It is.
Oh, it's a sidewalk.
I'm down.
Yeah, I was just about to land, but I saw you all coming in the other way.
Oh, someone just went over me.
I saw that happen.
I think that's Dave.
Yeah.
Well, might as well go straight to the other end and do a turnaround, ready to take off again. You came in fast there, Dave.
Okay, I'm going to join the back of the queue and come in behind everybody.
Evening all, I'm a bit late. Could you tell me which airport you're at?
NZGB.
NZGB. Thanks, I'll join you there. Thank you.
"5 minutes, guys. Go and get a coffee. Just park up on the side here somewhere."
This is a full stop.
Yep.
Just for a few
Okay,
minutes.
break.
Yeah.
I need to go and top up the Pinot.
Too early for that for me.
Oh, they got a little roundabout here.
It is never too early.
I've never seen this in an airport. A little roundabout.
Yeah, they actually do have a fuel station here for aircraft. It's
Good, I'm
amazing.
running low.
I'm afraid I'm cheating. I've got mine set on 50% all the way.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not stupid. Okay, go and get some wine.
I just need a beer glass that does the same now.
Well, there's the Death Wish van is driving around trying to crash into everybody.
I wish. It's like, oh, that's a nice plane you got, Crash.
Yeah. Cool. Parking brake on. And kill the engine. If I can. Taking a couple of screenshots. I've never remembered to take screenshots usually.
Not a lot of people live on this side of the island. Most of the Great Barrier population is on the western side of the island, funny enough, but this was the only large flat area where they could put a strip on the whole thing.
Opening all my doors. I don't know if you can see them in there, Jonathan.
No, I think it only works for you. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I have refueled, and so's the plane. So
Oil change too.
I sometimes do a flight, and I enjoy it that much that I get my wife to come in and sit on the flight, and I've just told her she's got to come and see this one because it's beautiful.
You sit out of the right of you, so she's like in the co-pilot seat.
Yeah, I wish. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah.
My little ones do it. They love it. They think they're in the airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
And then I let them fly, and they adore it.
When I take her up, I tend to be outside the plane, outside view, so she can really see the scenery. We haven't taken off again already, have we?
No.
No, I think everybody's just getting their coffee or their Pinot or whatever it is they're consuming.
Well, I hope it's not Pinot because there isn't enough in the world for everyone. And I need mine.
Right.
If you want some really unusual and different ones, get hold of some Kiwi Central Otago Pinots. There's nothing in the world like them.
But I don't think I've ever tried the New Zealand Pinot. I'm talking about Pinot Grigio. I'm talking white.
Oh, you're talking white. No.
Yeah, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't drink red. It gives me nightmares. Any red wine, I can't drink it.
Oh,
But if you
that's
can
a shame.
recommend a really good white Pinot from New Zealand, I'll give it a go.
Oh, they make some nice Pinot Gris. Yeah, down
Sorry,
they do. I've had quite a few, but I find with Pinot Gris you get a lot of variation.
Oh, you do, yeah. Yeah.
I'm drinking cloudy
It looks
cider.
like everybody's on the move, guys. So
It's interesting you get nightmares. That must be just like kind of like a neurological reaction or something.
I've no, not neurological. I'm not stupid.
No, not that mean. No. No, your brain's it's like a poison to your brain.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Yeah. And if I put cheese with it, then I'm in real trouble.
Well, red wine has tannins in it, doesn't it? So maybe it's that does it.
Yeah.
that's
I'm
right.
drinking Rattler cider.
Oh my God.
Nothing wrong with a drop of cider either.
Drink it through a straw, Dave.
It's Cornish Cloudy, 8.4%.
My son came home from the UK with lots of stories about a drink they had over there called something snake or something, a snake bite, that's right.
Yeah.
And
Snake bite,
it was a concoction of cider and something else, and
Lager.
it was lethal. Is that what it was?
Cider and lager. They won't serve it to people anymore.
Is that right?
It forms a jelly, therefore it stays in your gut for a long time and makes you drunk for a very long time.
And it affects your brain.
Don't let me have it.
Righto, guys, we're getting in the air again.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to head south down the coast in what I call my playground. This is where I do all my boating, where we're going, guys.
Shit.
This Coromandel Peninsula that we're flying down shortly has a population in total on the whole peninsula, which extends probably 50, 60 odd kilometres, more than that, nearly 100 kilometres. There's only about 32,000. But in the summer months, it goes to 150,000 as all the holiday makers arrive.
Oh, someone in the water
Yeah, me.
in Mayday.
Somebody in the water.
They need a float plane. Pick them up.
I think I'm just going to have to start again at the airfield. NZGB, isn't it?
Yeah, don't think we're ready yet.
looking out to your left, gentlemen, next stop, South America. There's nothing for thousands and thousands of kilometres.
It's the ocean.
I think it's the longest stretch of water with nothing on it on the planet.
Wow. What's that little island ahead of us?
That is called Cuvia. It's got a light on it, and when the ships come to New Zealand, it's the first thing they see, basically, if they're coming into Auckland anyway. Been out there a couple of times in the boat. Great fishing, because nobody goes there, a bit far away. You got to have a perfect day. And beyond that island, you get out to the deep water, great marlin fishing. I think this summer, over Christmas, over a period of about a week, they had a competition out of home, and there were 75 marlin caught and tagged in about 4 days.
Wow.
Hell of a fish to throw back, isn't it?
Very
Any idea of sizes?
big.
Radio
That's all
check.
I know.
Yes, we can hear you, Jim.
Okay, thank you. I'm just taking off now.
Most marlin are as big as most sharks, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, you get plenty of those out here too. White pointers, Marcos. But they don't seem to give us any trouble.
It's funny because where I live here in England, the local village is the shark centre of England.
I wouldn't have thought of sharks in England.
Oh, there is, you believe me.
Especially basking sharks.
Oh yeah, they're common.
They're very...
But you get makos and what's the other big one? Oh, I've forgotten.
We get tiger sharks.
They had a tiger shark down about 10 mile away last year, that was. But it was a stray, if you know what I mean.
Oh, looks like there's an error in the flight pan here for this waypoint.
I only put that waypoint in to stop the very tight turn at Great Barrier if anybody was... You didn't get there when I did it, so that's why I put that waypoint out there.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
The autopilot sort of shortchanged you. If you're on autopilot, we're going to change course shortly and we'll head in towards the peninsula again. And then we'll go out to my favourite island. You've got to have a look at this because it is quite spectacular.
Can you give us a heading we should be heading towards right now? Because mine's going all weird.
180.
176.
Alright, thank you.
From where you are, though, if you want to add another 15 degrees to that, it'll get you back towards the next waypoint.
Yeah, I must admit I didn't look to see who was talking.
Yeah, I was just because I'm in the same situation. I thought I'd seen a bug, but maybe it's a bug in the simulator itself. I wondered if it was a bug in the GTN 750 that I can't activate a leg anymore. It may be because I powered the aircraft down at the stopping place.
I did the same thing.
My autopilot stopped working altogether since I unplugged it and plugged the quadrant back in again.
How strange. So yeah, it's fine. You can still see the lines, can still use headings. So
Yep.
not a problem.
I'm just hand flying.
Yeah.
So are we heading for waypoint 5?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not listening to that with the autopilot, so yeah, I'm just gonna go hand fly.
And hopefully I will catch you up there.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to hand fly it as well. It's more fun, isn't it? I'm going to get a bit of altitude so I can actually see some of the scenery.
The flight plan's only a guide, guys. If you want to nip off and have a closer look at something, just come back and join it. Find the line and go back.
This is a
really good
plan.
one.
We're seeing
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, I like it.
Ditto.
I'm just gonna dive bomb this freighter.
Is your middle name Kamikaze?
This comma.
That'll do.
Almost hit him.
Our Department of Conservation has set up all over the country a lot of what you would call bush camps, I suppose. Minimal facilities, but minimal cost also. So people travel the country with their caravans and motorhomes, and there's plenty of places to go and stop and stay. In front of us is a bay called Waikowau Bay, which is very popular for that reason. It's got a dock camp there.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the name of the bay. I wasn't going to attempt to mangle the name myself.
Waikowau. We have a lot of place names that are of Maori origin, and
Yeah.
they can be a bit of a tongue twister, a lot of them. And I tell you what,
How
it's
close
getting
is
to a
the
point
language?
down here, if you don't get it right, they, like the Auckland Harbour was always known as the Waitemata Harbour. Well, sorry, we've all had to change. It's now the Waitemata, because that's the correct pronunciation, apparently.
How close is the language to Hawaiian, as in indigenous Hawaiian?
I don't know. It's similar. Apparently,
Because-
it's similar. There was
because a lot of the names are spelt in the same kind of way, and the accents on the vowels are the same.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
double vowels,
possibly.
isn't there?
But a thing a lot of people don't realise and don't understand, that before the European came, the Maoris never had a written language.
Yeah.
The greatest gift that the European gave the Maori was a written language.
And I have to say,
They
it's
don't-
exactly the same for the Hawaiians.
Yeah, they don't acknowledge it, of course, but and now they try to tell us how we should spell and pronounce. Yes, but don't tell us how to spell it, because it wasn't their language. But they have got a written language now and a dictionary, but it was all put together by Europeans.
I almost thought Muggs was gonna hit the water.
Yeah, it kind of took my eye off of stuff there for a second.
I thought that was on purpose.
I don't know if is Lyndon still on the flight?
Yeah.
I was on about language and languages coming close to extinction and stuff. I saw a fascinating program a while ago about the Welsh language and about the clergyman that wrote the Bible in Welsh to protect the language.
Yeah, there was quite a few things that have saved it from along the years.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely fascinating. I didn't realise that it had come close to disappearing.
Yeah.
It depends in Wales where you go. Some places in Wales, English is the second language. Isn't that true, Lyndon?
Yeah.
And that's, I think it's more towards the sort of north middle of Wales.
The north and the west.
Yeah.
The problem is, those, as you were talking about earlier, those are also the areas which attract the most tourists and have the most biggest problem with house prices, keeping the locals. So, you know, unfortunately, those are the areas where it's most threatened because of the people want to move in.
I just thought that was stunning, though, that one person took it upon his shoulders to translate the entire Christian Bible into Welsh. It took him decades, but he did it.
Yeah, and he did a very good sort of job with literary sort of.
And apparently it became kind of the reference for the Welsh language.
Yeah, even though before schools were there, they had Sunday schools. There was a few scandals where some English inspectors came to Wales and gave a damning report on Welsh schools, but most of the kids were literate because they went to Sunday school and learned from the Bible directly.
Yeah.
This little island we're heading out to here is called Great Mercury. It's privately owned by two gentlemen. Some people may recognise their names. Faye Richwright, they were New Zealand merchant bankers, but they're very, very hospitable. They're more than happy for you to land on their island. To me, it's the gem of the New Zealand coastline. Why? Because it's got everything. It's got a rugged coastline, it's got a natural harbour, and it's got some of the most magnificent beaches you'll ever find.
There's an equivalent just off Los Angeles called Catalina, which is owned by the Wrigley family, as in Wrigley chewing gum.
Oh yes, yeah.
And you can walk from one side of the island to the other across this fabulous sort of beach area, and it's very rugged, it's quite mountainous. Anyone that's flown in there would know that the airport is really very high and very short, and it's got a fabulous, it's got two really good natural harbours. Sounds very, very similar. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Well, it's not very green though, is it?
Catalina's not that green, no.
This gem is. There's only two houses on the island, one for each of the families. Other than that, it's farmed on the northern end, and the southern end of the island's got a very narrow waist. Now, it does have an airstrip, but it's an agricultural strip. It's got an incline of about 40 degrees. You land one way and take off the other, irrespective of which way the wind's blowing. Very short. You'll only get in there with something that got a very short take-off landing. And here's the little natural harbour. It's not big. It's not a big island, but it's stunning. Beautiful beaches.
Would you guys mind circling around a little bit? Give me a chance to catch you up.
Yeah, of course we can.
On the eastern side of the island is Caroline Bay. It's a little half moon bay, but the best beaches are on the southern shore. It's even got its own.
Do they welcome people to their beaches?
Oh yeah, most welcome. Just take your rubbish and don't bring your pets ashore.
Sorry,
The
what?
rules.
Don't bring your pet ashore?
Take your rubbish with you, and don't bring your pets ashore.
What are pits?
Pets.
Dogs, cats. A lot of people take their dogs away with them. The island's got its own version of the White Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah, you can see it.
I've gone in and put my hand on that cliff and had 35 metres of water under the hull. Just goes straight down.
That's just crazy.
That's beautiful. I see you.
When we come round the bottom of the island, there's some magnificent beaches. One in particular is called Peach Grove, and it is just a gem.
Sounds like you've had an awful lot of fun in your boat when you had it. Before you
I've still got one. I'm a sailing man, but the family wasn't into it, so we built the batch instead and got a tinny. I got an 18-foot runabout with a 100-horse Suzuki on it.
Nice.
Takes us anywhere we want to go.
I've never been a sailor and never been a glider. I like power.
They were called tinnies in Lake Powell, weren't they, Joe?
Yeah, they call them tin cans.
Yeah.
That's right. All my grandsons and that, I got 6 of them. They're all into wakeboarding and water skiing and that sort of thing. So it's multi-purpose vessel.
It's big enough to take. It's fast enough to take them water skiing.
Oh yes, it'll do 50 mile an hour. Goes like the clappers.
Okay, that's a bit too fast for water skiers. Average speed's about 33, isn't it?
Yeah, that's about what we do. So here are some of those beaches, guys. It's just.
I used to have an American boat, a Glastron, which we used for water skiing. Yeah, they're a good boat. It's a bow rider. We used to use it a lot for water skiing. It was great.
Tupperware.
Sorry?
Tupperware, I call them.
What?
Tupperware,
a ski boat?
Glastron.
Oh, Glastron. No, they're good boats.
No, Tupperware.
No. Get out of here.
Do all those little.
Bond jumped one of those.
Stink pots.
What, a Glastron? When was the last time you saw one?
He's on about anything with an engine.
Oh, I see. Okay. You Luddite.
My boat was classic.
A bit like you, Dave.
Yeah. They don't build them like me anymore.
Thank God for that. What can I say?
Actually, my boat was built and brought over from Finland, and that's where it went back to when I sold it.
It's funny, isn't it? You wouldn't think of the Finnish as being a boat building country because they are locked in by ice for so much of the year.
Okay, thanks for hanging around, guys. I've caught up.
Brilliant. Okay, next heading. 239 degrees. Over towards Kennedy Bay.
We're coming over here because I want to show you a beach that is known as just south of Kennedy Bay, known as New Chums. It's totally uninhabited. There's no road access. And they reckon it's the closest thing to what it was before anybody ever arrived on the mainland of New Zealand. The only way you can get there is by boat or to hike in. It's absolutely stunning little beach.
Right, I've opened the engine up, see how fast I can catch up with you all.
This area down here is one of the very popular holiday spots on the Coromandel coast. A lot of holiday homes. It's where my wife and I have built our holiday home. I'll show you where that is shortly, but it is a beautiful area. And one of the features of this beach is there's not very many beaches in New Zealand that face north. This is one of the very few. The big long one there down on your left, out on the port side.
This looks like a very big natural harbour.
That's New Chum straight ahead of us in there, and we're now coming around, and this beach over here is
Wangapua Harbour.
Wangapoa, it's pronounced.
Wangapoa.
Again, very tidal, and it's got a bar which doesn't show on this, but can be quite tricky.
Yeah, there's a lot of sandbanks around it, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Inside the harbour itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too good if you got a 20-foot keel.
No, it's not a harbour for keel boats, that's for sure.
No.
Got a lovely golf course here at Matarangi, right on the end of the sand spit. The population on this peninsula rose summer months up to 10,000. They just flock here. The beach is 4.5 kilometres long.
That's a nice looking golf course.
It is. It is a lovely golf course.
Jonathan wouldn't know because he hasn't played golf yet.
I have. Yeah, we play golf.
I know he's
No,
touching me.
I'm talking to Jonathan. He knows what I'm on about.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to do a touch and go on that golf course.
There is. It actually shows an airstrip at Matarangi, but it's been decommissioned. We don't have it anymore. They decided to build houses on it.
It's going, runway 21 is still open.
No, it's not. If you go down there, there's actually houses in the middle of it now.
Okay. Oh, I think I should have turned left here.
Now, I'm going to point something out to you here, guys. This is anybody that loves pizzas. Hate to tell the Italians this, but there's a place right under the hill here, down in the corner that I'm flying straight at now. It's called Luke's Kitchen. It's an experience to be had. You sit on beer crates.
My kind of pizza place.
And a massive big pizza oven, and even in the middle of winter, it's chocker. Right.
This is one hell of a trip.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is so good.
It makes such a difference having somebody local to point out things along the way.
Absolutely, it does. It brings it alive.
Tell you what, Jonathan, what inspired me was that trip we did through Arizona.
Yes.
When we got the commentary from our American friend.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed that so much. I'll do a couple more, but around New Zealand. I don't know as much about the rest of the country as I do this area, but I do know where to go and where to get some good sights.
Well, I can take everybody around a quick trip of Northampton. It would last about 12 minutes.
We'll do the ultralights.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I can show everyone my
And it's
house.
20 minutes.
I think with most people with flight sim, if you talk about New Zealand, they immediately think about Queenstown and Milford Sound and down in the really wild bit in the southwest.
Just Lord of the Rings, that's all.
Yep.
I tell you what, I was talking to you, Jonathan, about the Lord of the Rings, and I've been looking at it. I found on the NZA group, there's a whole series somebody's done on the Lord of the Rings, and they've actually got 5 flight plans already put together that takes you to all the sites where it was filmed.
That's pretty good.
So I'll look into it a bit more, and maybe
you
we
probably
could do a
get
couple of those.
You get a record of people on the channel probably wanting to fly for that.
Yeah.
40 people.
If we advertised it, yeah.
I recently went to Croatia, and most of the people on holiday in Croatia were there for only one reason.
To visit the Red Keep, is it called?
Yeah, absolutely. It was all about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It really was. And it's fabulous going to the places and looking at where they filmed this scene and that scene. And like, you know, me, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, so I absolutely loved, well, both me and my wife, we both absolutely loved it. It was fabulous. So if you got I love the Lord of the Rings as well. So if you know, do one of those.
I understand, and I've yet to see if I can get it to work, but I understand that they've actually superimposed the actual, what do they call it? Set.
Yeah, the castles. Yeah.
They've superimposed the sets into the landscape, so you can fly around them.
Oh, we got to do that. You got to set that up.
I'll have a look and see if I can find where it all is. It even,
excuse me if I'm being stupid, but is this Bert? Are you Bert?
No. I'm Echo Charlie Mike.
Okay, you're what's your first name? What's your Christian name?
My first name is, get this right, it's a surname. My first name is Ellis, spelled E-L-L-I-S. God bless my great-grandmother.
So we can call you Ellis.
You can call me Ellis or Mac, I don't care. Most of my mates call me Mac.
Okay.
Righto, guys. This area we're flying into now is historically significant. This was the second place that James Cook, on his first voyage to New Zealand, stopped. And he came here with his
You've disappeared.
He came with his astronomer Charles Green to observe the transit of Mercury. It's where he made the first contact with the Maori people, and it's also the place, and I can show you exactly where, he hoisted the Union Jack and claimed New Zealand for King George III. So it's quite significant.
God bless him.
When he did that recording of that transit, he was only a couple of seconds out, wasn't he?
That's correct. Now, if you look ahead at about 11 o'clock, you'll see a headland at the right-hand side of what is known as Cook's Beach. And it was on the top of that headland where there's a plinth commemorating the site of where he observed the transit of Mercury. Now, straight ahead of us, you'll find the airfield at Whitianga, and this little town coming up at the head of this bay is where I currently reside. This is now my hometown. A beautiful spot.
You're not biased at all.
Yeah, where is he?
So if you go and stand outside, you'll see us come past in a minute.
Right.
We can't fly past in a minute because it's tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's
yeah?
in the future,
Yeah.
isn't he?
It'll never come.
Back to the future.
Might have to come round and catch you guys up.
Alice has got to give us our what's it numbers for Saturday, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, the lottery numbers.
Oh yes, I've got to do that, don't I? Right, this is a grass strip, guys, so we'll touch and go here, otherwise we're going to take too long. But this little town is bolting. It's growing by the day. The big thing is they've just put in a big canal complex with all the multi-mega million-dollar yachts and gin palaces and what have you.
I think it's straight in, runway 22, isn't it?
Yeah, straight in.
Oh, another golf course.
It is a golf course. We're lucky to be able to land here, guys, at the moment. They've closed the runway because of all the rain we've had. It's that blimmin' soft. So we're privileged. We're allowed to land here today.
As usual, I'm bringing up the rear.
It's actually owned by the local Aero Club, the Mercury Bay Aero Club, and they're very active. They've actually got a building program for the local high school students, and they build the Vans RV7s here. Out of here again. I'll do a circuit and watch us all come in.
Yeah, sorry to keep you waiting.
Pretty little town. Really enjoy it here. It's a bit isolated, but a lot of us oldies are running away to places like this.
I have the feeling.
a lot of houses with waterfront gardens, aren't there?
All those canals, Jonathan, are
Yeah.
man-made.
Yeah,
It's all man-made. Yeah,
it's very cool.
and it's cool.
Which explains why you have the small boat for running about with.
Yeah, that's right.
Alright guys, I gotta go. It was good flying.
Cool. See you soon.
Yeah.
See you.
No.
It's modelled really
Okay,
well, Randy.
guys. What's that, Jonathan?
It's modelled really well, isn't it, in the sim?
It is. It is. Yeah. Right, it's straight over those hills. You need a couple of 1,000 feet to clear it, and then we're heading straight home to MRAG and then approaching to Auckland International.
Cool. So 237.
So we're on the downward leg now, guys. Hope you've all enjoyed it.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
Very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll have to get my other half to do the voiceover on a flight around the Lake District in the UK, because she knows it inside out and back to front.
Oh, I'd love that, because it's one place I'd love to go, Jonathan,
Yeah,
if I can ever get over there.
I'll have to talk her into it, because she knows the names of all the valleys and all the hills and everything.
What's that, Jonathan? The Lake District?
Yeah,
That would
Oh,
be
that'd
good.
be cool. Yeah.
we actually walked it years ago. We walked from one end to the other, staying in, hotels and stuff along the way. We started in Ulverston, down on the south part of the Lake District, and went all the way up to Carlisle. Obviously, it doesn't take very long to travel across it in an aeroplane.
Yeah, but you can go backwards and forwards an awful lot in that area.
Yeah, I think if we do the Lake District, we'd use the little stole planes like the Savage Cub, and just
Yeah.
go really low and slow.
Mm.
flying over a couple of natural harbours down here, Manaia and Takum, and off to our right is the old gold mining town of Coromandel, after which the peninsula is named. Everywhere you go down here, it says no mining.
The sim has just paused. Is it going to recover? That's the question. Nope. Right, I have to restart the sim.
That's frustrating.
No, it won't take long. I'll just spawn in the air. Be a good test for transmitter actually to see if it picks the sim back up, because it should do now. It should automatically pick it up.
Oh, excuse me.
So flying into Auckland International.
This body of water we're flying over now, which I spoke about before, is the Firth of Thames. It's quite a large body of water. They reckon it's a huge breeding ground for our common species of fish. It's a bream. We call it snapper. But there's huge mussel farms in this estuary as well. They cultivate what we call the green lip mussels down here. Beautiful.
You with us, Jonathan?
Still booting up. Won't be long. He says famous last words.
Yeah.
I'll just spawn in over the island that you're all heading towards and then circle round. Ponui Island, I'm guessing it's...
Ponui is the name of that island. Yep. There's a string of little islands out here off the eastern coast of what we call the bottom end of Waiheke. We're coming back in on the southern side of Waiheke Island, and there's these string of little islands there, part of the sailing playground we have.
It really is so much like Hawaiian language. Really is.
Well, it's Polynesian, isn't it? Same.
Yeah.
ancestors.
Yeah, it's the same.
I
same
understand. Yeah, when Cook first came to New Zealand on his first voyage, he actually had a Hawaiian man with him. I forget his name, but he did have a name, and he was of great help because he was able to interpret the Maoris. He could understand them.
Yeah.
Apparently, so that was very helpful to Cook. They still got into a few skirmishes, though. I mean, say it was the Hawaiians that put into him in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was on his third voyage. He never got home.
That's right. And then they were very independent until the late 1800s when they invited America in, and then in the early 1900s it became another state of America. The
Were
Queen.
they the last ones, or was it Alaska that was the last state? I don't know.
No, I think Alaska was the last state. Hawaii came just before that one, and the Queen invited the Americans in to take over as a state. But I mean, I can see so many similarities here to Hawaii in terms of the language and the names. It's quite incredible. I mean, Hawaii is beautiful, and it's also very green, very green.
It's tropical up there, though, isn't it? We're not quite that tropical.
Yeah, it is tropical, and you've got the Big Island, you've got Kauai, Maui, and the Big Island. So, I mean, they're all volcanic islands. I think maybe I might put a flight together around the Nepali coast or something.
Just going to say, if somebody that knows the area could do that, it'd be great.
Yeah, I certainly know Kauai very well, and I know Maui a little bit. But also we could do Pearl Harbor. I know that very well. But Pearl Harbor has been done before. But it might be an interesting flight. Certainly around Kauai. It's called the Garden Island, the Green Island, and it's where they did a lot of filming for Jurassic Park. Now, if you know Jurassic Park, the film, there's a helicopter goes down a waterfall.
Yep.
I've actually gone down there in a helicopter, retracing it. Gorgeous, absolutely fabulous. Unfortunately, I can't fly a helicopter, so otherwise I'd make it a helicopter flight.
I've just been to close up on Little Navnut of Auckland, and I got 39 airplanes already there.
What's that, AI planes or?
Yeah, well, from what's it called, that new program?
It's not from that. That's just the planes that are in the sim. It's because you never had live traffic on before.
Well, yeah, sorry, yeah, but they're all real now.
Yeah, I know. It's repainted them. But yeah, it's put the international traffic on the airport basically because you turned on live traffic.
So there ain't many parking spaces. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't think that's going to worry any of us because we'll just park where the hell we want to.
Underneath the others.
Yeah, who gives a damn?
Yeah, you can do. The GA parking is at the eastern end of the airfield, guys. If you go down past the domestic terminal and round to your left, it's down in there.
Right.
And I think there's also another lot right up the other end on the western end. But they've also got a lot of parking up there for the international overnight stayers.
And we're coming in on runway 23 left, yeah?
Correct. I think I put the ILS information up if anybody wants to use it. I can't because my autopilot's not working.
Prefer to do it by hand.
I'll have to do it by hand.
Much more fun.
This valley to the left is known as the Clevedon Valley. If there was ever a tsunami, it'd go straight through here from one harbour to the next.
Apart from Adam Parish, I am tail gun Charlie. I don't see Adam on our Discord. So he must just be following us.
Just coming up to the ILS in a few moments. I can see the airfield out in front of us now. I'm going to fly in orbit, so I let the others come in first. And I get to look at the scenery.
As I say, Auckland's very, very spread out city. If you look to the left, you can see that suburbia just goes on and on to the south. Virtually all the way to what we call the Bombay Hills now.
Perfect. This might seem like a silly question, but why is this runway designated 23 left when there doesn't seem to be a right?
There is a right, but they use it as a taxiway. A bit of interesting information about this airfield, Auckland International. It's got one of the longest runways in the southern hemisphere. Why? Because the Americans came and added a few hundred feet on the end of it, because they wanted to be, it is actually a reserve landing strip for the space shuttle.
Oh, wow.
There's a big plaque at in the terminal at Auckland telling you all about it. Yeah, USA extended our runway because they wanted to use it as an alternate landing spot for the space shuttle. They never did use it, but we got an extra long runway out of it.
Yeah. We've got a family story related to Australia and the space program. I'm going to get this right. My other half's mum's brother. Now, have I got that right? Flew out, or he was part of the Apollo program. Oh, sorry, her uncle was part of the Apollo program, and he went out with Honeywell to Australia to set up the electronics at the parks. Oh no, so I think it was Woomera he went to, and he worked there throughout the Apollo program, and then he ended up living there. So they're still out there, and they're descendants.
Well, that sounds like a good holiday, actually, Jonathan. You need to get out there.
Actually, no, I think it's her mum's brother. That was it, yeah, because she's got a much older brother. Yeah, he was working at Honeywell. Oh, I've just paused. Is it going to crash again? Is it not in a mood to behave itself today?
You've just gone, Jonathan.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah, it's just crashed again. Memory could not be read. That's the classic flight sim crash that thousands and thousands of people get. So we're just flying an aeroplane along in a straight line, not doing anything, and it just locked up and crashed. Oh well. I'll spawn into Auckland just to fly around the airfield with a helicopter or something to have a look at it, just to finish off. Isn't that bizarre? I've been running this sim without a crash for a couple of weeks. and then it crashes twice in 10 minutes.
Taxiing behind an Airbus.
Your fan is going the other way, I think. That's below the equator. Attempt at humor.
There we are, guys. That wasn't bad. Pretty well bang on 2 hours.
Very good.
Yeah, you said an hour and a half, way out.
Yeah, I know, but we mucked around a lot, didn't we?
We
It
did.
only took me an hour
Yeah,
and a half
yeah.
the other day.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
No, really good flight. Thanks.
It ain't over yet. I've still got to land.
Yeah, that's very much dependent on what you describe as a landing, really.
Thank you for that, Jonathan. It's fine.
Well, as long as you can walk away from it, which you can in the simulator every time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Thank you. Adam Parrish is just coming in, whoever he is.
Oh, I can watch
So we
the...
took a Cafe Pacific.
yeah, I'm watching your stream while I'm waiting for
What,
the...
mine?
No, I'm watching Dave's.
Oh.
Where's
Did
yours?
has anybody watched mine?
I'm just about to pull yours up.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
Whoopsie daisy.
The fire engine's on its way out for somebody.
Yeah, I always get quite offended when I land somewhere and there's a fire engine waiting for me.
It's alright, Dave just drove straight through it.
That's better.
It's one thing they got to fix. They got to get rid of those flipping trucks in there, eh?
Yeah.
They're a pain
The
getting in the road.
the sandwich vans are okay. Or catering, I should say.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the sim to restart and then I'll have a quick look at the airport.
There's a couple of add-ons for the airport as well that are very good.
You're China. There, New Zealand, there, New Zealand, there, New Zealand.
There's a Qantas over there. You're about to hit the curbs. Oh, there's no curbs. You just drove straight through them.
That's all right. I'll pay for the suspension. There, New Zealand. Oh, Virgin. I bet there are many Virgins in.
When I fly out of here, I fly out of gate 23 at the domestic terminal, but I think there's somebody sitting in it now. It looks like a ATR. So I'll go down to GA parking.
I'm going to park behind this Virgin.
Just waiting for the sim to start.
Hey, you can all go home now. I've landed.
Right, I'm going to pull the plug. Thank you.
Hey,
Yes.
that's all it takes, isn't it? Just to let you know I've landed and you're off.
Thank you, Alice. Nice.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
That was
for
a
all that.
Hope you all
great
enjoyed
flight,
it.
Ellis. I really enjoyed that. That was really good.
What's the name
Thank
of
you
the
very
airport?
much.
Night, night, everyone.
Yeah, night.
Night, Dave.
Right, all.
Good night.
NZAA. Fly.
The airport authorities are going to go, what the hell is that little 172 drawing up to a proper gate with a...
Have you ever seen, I've forgotten his name, the Australian guy that has a YouTube channel, flies an SR-22 around?
No.
Yes, I've seen a couple of his. Yes.
Yeah, he got permission during the pandemic, I think, to fly into Melbourne International in his little SR-22, And he also got permission to just taxi around the airport, being a complete nerd for about half an hour, looking at everything.
Hotel Echo Charlie Bravo, ready at runway 23, left
Right.
straight on departure.
I have a helicopter on the ground, and I'm going to go and have a look at the airport. Just waiting for it to spool up.
And Quiz has landed and is at the gate on the blocks. Thank you very much.
I don't know if this stream, is it still streaming?
Yours.
No, it's not. Go live.
Alice, thank you very much. A very enjoyable flight.
You're welcome.
The Ellis,
See you on
thank
the
you very
next one
much.
somewhere else in the world. It's, this is the beauty of this. We can go to so many places that we'll probably never get to.
Exactly.
Well, just stick to New Zealand. You know it well, and it's a great tour. You could probably fill about half a dozen flights on that.
Probably can. I've got one that I thought you might all be interested in. It flies out of Hamilton, which is I don't know, it's one of our larger towns or cities in the Waikato in the North Island, and it goes down, follows the Waikato River to Lake Taupo, and then up over the central volcanic plateau, and then on
great.
down to Wellington. I might do
Go
that.
for it.
because
Next week.
Oh no, let somebody else have a go for a while, but I'll work on it.
Yeah, but we enjoy your flights. You know, don't let them hog it. They've had it for years. It's your turn. Take the centre stage, mister.
No.
Okay, I'm out of here. Thanks
was
very
fun.
much, guys. Thank you very
Okay.
much. That was very enjoyable. Well done, Ellis. Beautiful.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Nice.
Good morning. I'll go and join my wife for breakfast now.
Thanks again. That was absolutely fantastic, Alice.
Hey Jonathan, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much, Alice. Absolutely brilliant night. Thank you.
Right, so I have to go and find somewhere to land a helicopter now. Right, I'm going to say goodnight as well, so I'll see you all soon.
Yeah, and me. Good night all.